Hello and welcome to Doctor's Orders here at the Chrissy B Show. I'm Dr. Rob Hicks. Today we're going to be talking about eczema. Now this is a very common skin condition, and you may hear it also called dermatitis, which simply means inflammation of the skin. And the word eczema comes from the Greek and it means to boil over, and that's precisely what it feels like when someone has a flare-up of their eczema. The skin becomes very dry and flaky and itchy and red and sore. And if it's infected, it may weep as well. Eczema is actually very common. 1 in 5 children have eczema, and the commonest form is called atopic eczema. It means it's related to allergy, and if you've got asthma or hay fever already, or there's a family history of eczema, then you're more likely to develop it yourself. Now, thankfully, there are ways to get on top of eczema and keep the symptoms under control. Now, one of the things to do is to try and avoid the triggers that set off the flare-ups. So these include things like irritation from soaps and detergents, or from wool rubbing against the skin and making it dry and itchy. Some people find that exposure to allergens like pollen, house dust mite, pet hairs, sometimes even foods will trigger their eczema. It may be that cold weather is the cause for you. Cold, dry weather, hot, humid weather can also trigger eczema, and certainly stress and being under the weather with a cough or a cold. Many people find that their eczema flares up when that happens, and they find that the skin creases, the wrists, the elbows, behind the knees become very red and itchy and inflamed. So it's important to avoid these triggers as best you can. The other thing is not to scratch the skin. Now, I know having a good scratch relieves an itch, but what it also does is it triggers the release of a chemical called histamine, and that causes more itch. So make sure that your nails are short, and if you think you may be scratching in your sleep, think about wearing cotton mittens so you're not going to be doing damage to the skin. And when you do feel that the skin needs a good old scratch, rather than scratch it, get a handful of moisturiser and gently stroke it into the skin using the pads of your fingers. That way you'll relieve the itch, but you won't set off the process of causing more itch. When you're in the bath or shower, make sure that the water is lukewarm rather than hot, because hot water can further irritate the skin. When you come out, pat the skin dry rather than rubbing it, and immediately put some moisturiser on while the skin is still damp. That helps to lock in the moisture, keeping the skin soft and supple, because moisturising with dry skin and eczema is incredibly important. And there are lots of different moisturisers around, so find one that works for you, try a number. Eventually you will find one that does the job. There are other treatments, obviously. There are steroid creams and ointments that will calm down inflammation. There's also antihistamines to relieve itch, and your doctor may prescribe you with a course of antibiotics if your eczema is infected. So if you feel that your eczema is not under control, if it's making your life miserable, or you just want some advice on how you can better control your eczema, then do seek the advice of your own doctor. And that's Doctor's Orders.